Welcome to the Book Dormer. Yeah, I'm in barbarian mode. Well, science barbarian mode, I guess. Gotta love the museum t-shirts if you haven't seen them. Anyways, let's go. This is my June reading plan. I really started doing these reading plans a few months ago where I just decided I was going to make sure I got additional reading in. Some months, sometimes I did a lot of audios for quite a while. I discovered really is that I just needed reading glasses. As soon as I got those, the pace went right back up on physicals too. And there's something nice about a physical book, right? I just love to pick up a physical book. All right, let's talk about the carryovers from May. Again, I had a lot of things working, a lot of late hours this week. So the book I was going to read in the week only got 100 pages in. I'm going to assault it. So this is Liza Locke Lamora. This is Scott Lynch's big big work. I mean, that's pretty much the only thing I think he's known for. Maybe he's got others out, but I think this is what he's known for. 2016, actually met Scott a few times at Gen Con, and he would talk about his books, and I didn't realize how beloved his books are. And being 100 pages in, I'm already hooked. So we'll be jamming this one out. And if you saw it, this is the Broken Binding edition. And just for fun, I don't know if I should. Tell me that's not the Beast Titan from Attack on Titan. At least when he's not in beast mode, obviously. Anyways, Liza Locke Lamora. We have an orphan thief who is taken in by the thief, essentially like a thief training area, and messes up so bad that they're wanting to off him, and instead trades him to somebody who is a fake priest who trains him how to be one of the quote unquote gentleman bastards. And so we're getting the backstory mixed in with along with a confidence plan that he's doing on a scam he's doing against somebody. Ah, the other carryover I have is Cherry Priest's Dreadnought. I'm doing that on audio. That's I've got about 2.5 hours left in that book. From 2010, this is book 2 of her Clockwork Century series. So it's a steampunk in a world where the U.S. Civil War has continued on for a couple decades now instead of being over quickly. Um, the dramatized adaptation, interesting way to do it because she's got two different versions of this book or audiobook out. One is somebody reading the descriptions along with the story, and that is 4 or 5 hours longer than the dramatized because you know instead of having to have somebody read out, and a steam whistle went in the background while they spoke. Instead, you just put a steam whistle in the background while they spoke. Yeah, so you still get that immersion. It does a good job on the immersion side. All right, so that'll be done probably Sunday or Monday. That'll finish up. Probably depends how much yard work I have to do. But normally on Saturday, I also listen to a podcast, so that'll slow that down a little bit. That's on two carryovers. All right, well, here's the new stuff for this month. First up, Internet Darling. All sorts of people talking about this book. I was waiting to get a copy in hardcover. Boom, Empire of Silence, and they brought it back out. It was successful enough and enough buzz that they brought out a fairly expensive hardcover. I mean, this one is pushing where it's not that going to be that much more expensive to get the fancy editions, depending where you live in the world. And fancy editions are announced, so they're going to be doing a series. This is going to get the broken binding style. And broken binding, what they've been doing lately is doing because you'll have the subscription, right? The Liza Locke Lamora is a current subscription. So over 3 months, you get one book each month if you're part of the subscription. Or if you're like me and you found somebody who's sharing, thank you. But then this one is not going to be part of the subscription. This is a 6 book series so far, and more coming. And so they're going to do them in chunks. So probably do like 3 books and you buy 140, 120 pounds, whatever it's going to cost, and you get so many at a time, and then probably do it in 2 waves. Because with the Malazan series, they're actually going to be doing it in 3 waves. And it sounds like on Malazan, they're actually going to go more and go after the rest of the books. Because there's actually beyond 10 in the series. There's actually a bunch of them. Let's get back towards Empire of Silence first. So Christopher Ruccios came out in 2018. This is book 1 of the Sun Eater series. It is a space opera plus fantasy. And that with great reviews. There are all sorts of people on YouTube who'll tell you it's the best science fiction book or their favorite. High praise. So we'll see. Hopefully, I didn't set myself up for failure and disappointment when hearing something get that kind of praise. But if it's good, that'll let me carry on, and hey, it's a good chance to find out if I really want to get the Broken Binding editions. Probably gonna get the Broken Binding editions. Then, next up on the plan is a much gentler, a cozy, a science fiction cozy. Floating Hotel, Grace Curtis. And I just wanted to get a copy, or I saw people were hoarding in just reviews, and they're like, surprisingly liked it. This came out in March of 2024. The Grand Abina Hotel has the best view in the galaxy because it's a space hotel. And just cozy mysteries like who's leaving notes, who's doing this, who's driving the ship. Yeah, sometimes you just mix in with the harder stuff. You want some happiness in there. All right, this one, Silverblood Promise. I kept it towards the back. I actually wanted to read this next, but it seems like it's very similar to Liza Locke Lamora, and I wanted to have a little gap between them. If you read too many things that are similar right in a row, sometimes they start blurring a little bit. Like that's why keep away from certain other narrations. For instance, like if you're doing a series in the same narrator, I like to move around because they just sound similar. Let me read you off the front cover of this though. A fast-paced carnival of setbacks and skullduggery that reminds me of me. Charming from the first tryst to the last. Scott Lynch, who's the author of Liza Locke Lamora. So let's see. This came out in May 2024. This is the Broken Binding edition. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is sold out. They had it reappear shortly, and I think it disappeared in like 5 minutes when it reappeared. They were just selling off the extra of the signed editions like these. It's an academy dropout. He's nobility. He's kind of wasting away his life with cheap drink and just playing cards until his father gets murdered. And then renewed purpose, he's going to go get revenge. He's going to go take care of things. Book one, it's in the Last Legacy series. Haven't heard when the second one's going to come out. But given the reviews, I've seen a few people said they went through it and loved this book. And it seems like it's a lot same kind of crowd who likes Liza Locke Lamora, which again, Scott Lynch blurbed on the cover. So interesting. Let's see, audio wise, probably start this on Monday or Tuesday, is book 9 of the Malazan of the Fallen series. Steven Erikson, Dust of Dreams. Originally came out in 2009. So it's been a while. 43 hours and 14 minutes on a month when I'm traveling twice. And I tend to do physical books when I travel rather than audio. No, a lot of my audio is either yard work or walking the dog. Mostly walking the dog. And so, or if I'm tinkering in the garage building some things, like all these little stands and things like this, I like to build them and make a little more effective use of the shelving. 43 hours. I expect that to go into July. At the end of July, Broken Binding is having their sale for the physical copies. And I've been wanting the hardbacks. This is the thing. I wanted all of them. I want at least the first 10, right? The Malazan Book of the Fallen series is 10. And then I think Steven's got 6 more. And then there's another, his co-creator, who also has books in the series. And it sounds like the Broken Binding might be doing all of them, which is mind-blowing that they would do that. That is amazing. And I hope it's a huge success for them. I hope it's a huge success for the authors. And I can't wait to hold them. I mean, I've been watching Patrick's reviews when he shows off the artwork. They're looking gorgeous. But anyways, Dust of Dreams. I'm not going to talk a lot about a book that's hidden book 9 in a series, because if you haven't read that far, I don't want to spoil anything other than I love the series. It is dark. It can be humorous. It has everything. Has humor, has wit, has great fight scenes, has magic, has gods. Some of it's explained, some of it's not. Sometimes you're just lost going, what is happening? Sometimes you're being dragged along, and sometimes you know exactly where the plans are going. Good twists, good reveals, everything about it. In fact, I again in the since I do the audio, it's Michael Page, who is an amazing narrator. I think that if I recall, and I'll put it on the in the edit, they're the original. The first few books had a different narrator, and then it switched to Michael Page, and just amazing narration. In fact, very distinctive, does great voices. I was advised maybe to listen to the audiobook of Liza Locklamora and maybe do like an immersive read with it. But the problem is Michael Page is the narrator, and I don't want to have him the same voice doing two different series at the same time. Right? Because if you do immersive reading, you're probably sitting in a chair reading your book while you listen. I've not tried it. I know people keep talking about it, so I'm actually going to give this a crack. This is my what do I want to call this? My stretch goal for the month, which is Hidden Palace from Helene Walker. This is book 2 of the Golem and the Jinn or Golem and the Genie series. I listened to the audiobook on the first one, love the audiobook. And it's one of those books that sometimes the audio is going to be better, probably a reading experience to you than reading it because the accents were so well done. And I don't think it's the accent I would have put on it. I've had a few times where I've had that experience. You know, like when there's a distinctive accent from a region, like oh gosh, I'm trying to think back, just like some West African fantasy, and just the narrator just brings it to life way better than I would have brought it to life in my head. Now that I've had it, okay, yeah, I can read the second. But on this one, I think what I'm going to try to do on this book is go for it. Go ahead and do the whole immersive reading technique. I've got the audiobook, I've got the physical. I really like the first book. It's very different than say the other books on my shelf here. It's almost a cozy, almost a literary style. Yeah. So we're gonna go for it, and we'll see if immersive reading works for me or not. And I'll report back at the end of next month, or if I get to it, right? Because there's some thick books, and I've got 2 travels. One of them is to a conference, so there's not gonna be a lot of reading at the conference. Not that week. The other one is I'm teaching classes, so I'll probably be reading all night. And so we'll probably be able to bang a book out on that trip, hopefully. All right, one more, and this is a weird one. This is my oh goodness, what did your brain come up with to do? So I've been learning French on slowly learning French, probably poorly learning French. And I got a book, and so I thought, why don't I get a book in French? And I was gonna do Fourth Wing. My daughter's actually going to Quebec this next week, and she was going to pick up a copy of Fourth Wing. She really wanted that special edition that they have there. And considering that Fourth Wing probably isn't going to be the most enjoyable read for someone with my reading taste, maybe it would have worked to do it in piece by piece in a different language. Instead, Fonda Lee posted, and I couldn't resist. She had this on her Instagram, Le Cité du Jade, and yeah, it's looking great. It's going to be a very slow read for me, though. I'm talking a chapter, well, a few pages a day is probably going to be a good pace. Because my goal is not to just read it. I'm going to try to do the Ollie Richardson's story learning, his methodology, which is you read the story, just see what you can pick up, then you go back and then you analyze what you read and see what did the words mean, what did you try. It's an interesting way to try to do this. And yeah, it's a something on the side. So expect that to take months. That would be maybe that's a summer project. Well, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe if I read it well, I'll go through it quicker. But I really suspect, being newer at a language, that I'm going to have to look and try to go back and go, oh, that's what that meant. Like you miss a lot of nuance. So who knows when the city well Jade City Legacy and those are coming out in Broken Binding editions. So that's the next series. Maybe I'll see if I can pick up a copy. It seems like they're going to be super popular. So who knows if they're actually going to be available to somebody who is still on the wait list. Wah, wah. Well, City de Jade came out 2023 in the French. Jade City is 2018 in the States. Fonda Lee's her Greenbone saga. I actually do already have the sequel. I'll get the third. She confirmed on Instagram. I answered when I asked on Instagram, they are doing all three. So yay. And just because I know it's just a plan, but you got to see the cover of that thing. It just looks so good on a shelf. And sometimes I don't know how I'll do this. Sometimes I'll buy more books than I'm going to read. That's probably the case. A little making sure of a FOMO, making sure fear of missing out, so you overbuy a little bit. But I do like when I've finished a book and being able to put it up on the shelf and stare at it happily. So thanks for coming, and I better get to reading. See ya.